Okay, screen share. All right, Laura, are we good? Can you see the slide okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Is it okay still?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for hopping on. Lauren and I are really excited to spend just a little bit of time tonight really diving into this incredible business opportunity that we both have been fortunate enough to be able to be a part of. Just to give you a little bit about my story, I started my Shackley business about 6 years ago. And at the time, I was looking for some natural solutions with my allergies, looking for, but not just that, I did have some health concerns, but I was also looking as a former teacher for a way to really work from home and to have a flexible job that could allow me to continue to stay home with my kids, but also be able to work in a way of choosing when I got to work and where I got to work. And here we are 6 years later, and I have more than tripled my former income as a former teacher, working mostly part-time hours. And we have been able to travel literally all over the world. We just got back from China, actually. So we have been on 9 all expenses paid trip with Shackley, places that we just never would be able to go to if it wasn't for our Shackley business. And not only that, but one of the things that's really awesome about this opportunity that we'll kind of dive into a little bit tonight is that we get to do it with our friends, and we also get to do it with our family. In this case, I'd love to introduce you to my sister, Lauren. She started her business, and she can kind of tell you a little bit about her story, but you can see there on the screen, hopefully, it's a picture of our family on one of our trips to Hawaii. It was always a dream of ours to go to Hawaii. And then on the right-hand side, that's a picture of both of our families, minus her newest addition, Gloria. But what's really neat and powerful about that picture is that this is a business that your family can be a part of. And this is a business that you can actually pass down to your kids one day, which is really neat. It's also a business that allows you to put family first and allows you to live life and to be able to be a mom or a dad or whatever that role may be, but also be able to provide for your family in a different way. So she's going to share a little bit briefly with you tonight on her story, and then we will talk a little bit more about what this Shackley opportunity could mean for your family.
Hey everyone, I am Lauren, and so like Katie said, I am her sister, and a little bit about and maybe, uh-oh, am I okay? My internet says it's unstable.
You're okay now.
Okay. So I was at home with my baby when my sister was introduced to Shackley, and for many years before this, I had really become very passionate about health and about just trying to eliminate as many toxins as I could, because in the world we live in, we can't do everything. We can't make it a perfect world, but we each can have our own part to make our home healthier and to really think about what we're putting in our bodies, what we're putting on our bodies, and all around us. So when Katie was introduced to Shackley, honestly, I was really, really skeptical, because I was like, what is this company? What are you doing now? Who are you partnering with? And why should I, besides the fact that I love my sister and wanted to support her, I was really like, why should I switch from what I'm already doing? I thought what I was doing was pretty good. And so I did a lot of research about the company, because I wanted to make sure that this was a company that made products that were pure and that were safe and that actually worked. And that's what I came to find out and was really blown away by, just the research behind the company. We're going to kind of share a little bit more about Shackley, but that's just my story of being really, really skeptical and taking the time to ask questions, to do my own research. And it took me some time before I came around. And so I started using the products, but it took even longer because I didn't think that this business opportunity was for me. I thought it was that my sister was doing, but I really didn't know if it was for me. But then 4 years ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to stop watching my sister. I was seeing the way that she was helping others not only improve their health, but also contributing to their
close your eyes.
And then also,
wait, Laura, can you hold on a second, Laura?
yes.
Would you guys mind, please, if you are not on mute, on the bottom left of your phone or computer, the mute button? I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Laura.
Thanks. And then, so I had seen the way Katie was not only contributing to her own family, but also she was helping other families to be able to bring in extra income as well. And so I have just always had a passion for health, but also just for helping people. And so I decided, you know, I'm going to stop watching her and I'm going to jump in as well. And I'm so grateful I did. Like Katie said, the perks of the traveling, those are wonderful. Having a car paid for, being able to pay for the products that we love and help our family so much, but also just be able to give more, to be able to save more. And what I really love doing is to be able to empower families, not only with their health, but also with their finances. So whether it's paying off debt or it's saving for retirement or if it's saving for their kids' college accounts, whatever it may be. So very thankful I stopped watching her and decided to jump in as well.
All right, so that's a little bit about our story, but I'd love to spend a little bit of time really diving into a little bit more about why people choose to partner with Shaklee. So for those who might not know, Shaklee has been around now for almost 60 years. 100 years ago, Dr. Shaklee first created the very first multivitamin. And so what's really neat is they have been a part of this nutrition movement for centuries now. And so no matter what you are looking for some people, they're looking for more time. Maybe you are in a 9-to-5 job and you feel like you don't have enough time in your day, or maybe you'd love to travel. Traveling is just really hard, or perhaps just not something you want to spend your money on. For other people, it's to improve their health.
I'm looking into doing Shaklee as a career.
What's that? Oh, okay. And then finances. So finances could be another thing. For some people, it's they're looking for extra income. For some people, I had a friend just share today about how they started their journey to be able to pay off debt. And I love seeing how she's been doing that along her way because of her Shaklee income, as Lauren said, or maybe it's retiring early, or maybe it's other things like having purpose and passion to be able to help other people improve their health. Really, there's not a week that goes by that I don't get a text message or a call or a letter in the mail that thanks me for the difference that I'm making, not only in their health, but also in their family's future. Maybe you love the idea of being your own boss and being able to set your own hours, or maybe you like the idea of being able to work wherever you want. I love tonight that all I had to do was sneak down into my basement and be able to work in the comfort of my own home. A lot of the stuff that we do is virtual and online, which is really neat and powerful, especially because a lot of our team is all around the whole world. So some things that people often ask is, what kind of company is this? How much could I really earn? Does this really work? A lot of times people can sometimes be concerned about, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to come across pushy. I don't want to be that person. Or what do I have to actually do to earn money? So hopefully tonight, spending a few minutes diving into a little bit more about what this looks like. So why do people choose Shaklee? I think that's a really good question to ask. One of the things that really stands out to us is the high quality products, that we can stand behind products that we know work and that we know will make a difference in other families' life. In fact, all of our products have 100% satisfaction guarantee, and companies typically cannot have that claim if they are not confident in what that product can offer. And so that's really neat to be able to stand behind a company with such high quality products, and their products go beyond organic in the safety of how pure they are and how well they work. The leadership, the vision for the future, the lucrative marketing plan that we have, our dream plan is a patent because it is just that good. And also one thing that really sets it apart is that you're actually paid to infinity. It is the only compensation plan out there that pays to infinity. And so really what that means is you can make this as little or as much as you want. There's no glass ceiling. As a former teacher, whenever I put in more hours at school or took out less hours, I was always getting paid the same amount. And so even those nights that I was spending doing parent-teacher conferences or grading, I wasn't necessarily paid on that. But in this business, if you need to put more in to earn more, you can be rewarded more. And then also the support of our team. Lauren's going to share a little bit more on the next couple slides.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of my story before about, just the why switch over to Shaklee in our home. And so a few of those things that I mentioned before were just the purity and the safety and it actually working. And so what I love about Shaklee is that they work in harmony with nature while still being backed by science. And so that was really important to me because they really make sure they test before, during, after to make sure that their products actually go beyond organic. Okay, so the products are pure, but then they also have third-party, peer-reviewed clinical studies, and there's also University of California did a study that found that Shaklee users actually had double-digit better health markers than those who use another brand of supplements or nothing at all. And so that's just a few of the things that have stood out. And then as far as the income, what I really love, like Katie said, is that we really help people to reach their goals, whatever they may be. So we just had a teammate who was able, after 19 years of teaching, because of her Shaklee career, she's now able to stay at home. So obviously that's someone who's looking for a bigger income, but we also have some people who their goals are to pay for their products. And so it varies on our team, and we support people exactly where they're at and what their goals are. And you know what? You might even find too that your goals will change. My goals started out small and they've changed over the years. And then the thing that I really, really appreciate that I didn't even really know how much I would enjoy and be just so grateful for is our community. We are just surrounded by people who desire to improve this world, who desire to help other people. There's no competition. There's just this awesome community where we cheer each other on, where we have all the tools and support. That's something that's really important to me, is that we have the training and we have the resources. So I know that I didn't have to start this and be an expert at everything or have all the answers, because I knew, I can go to our nutritionist. I can go to medical affairs with Shaklee. I can go to my upline who has helped other people with these health concerns. We just have so many resources available to us, which is really, really helpful when you're trying to, grow your business. Okay, and so like Katie had mentioned before, Shaklee has been a company for over 60 years. They've paid their distributors more than $8 billion in commissions, not missing a payment. They're actually the first company to be certified climate neutral. And I love this because not only they're committed to helping people, but they're committed to making a positive impact on our planet. So what does that mean, the climate neutral? It just means that they offset all of their carbon emissions so that they leave no carbon footprint on our planet. They've also planted, I think it's over 1 million trees at this point. And so they actually partner with Nobel, a Nobel Peace winner with the Trees Project. And they've also partnered with Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, who's a Nobel Prize winner in science. And I'm not sure if we have a slide about that, so maybe I won't go into detail about that just yet. But again, just that commitment to science, I love that. And so Dr. Shaklee, like Katie said, developed the first multivitamin in 1915 and founded the company in 1956. And he really believed in the golden rule. So I love that. He just was an incredible man who just believed in treating others as you would want to be treated and to just doing the right thing. And then here is some of our years of innovation. And something else I really appreciate is that back in it was the 60s, I believe, that they developed, 1960, that they developed one of the first biodegradable cleaners. So again, Shaklee was committed to being green before that was a cool thing, a fad. So they really have been kind of the pioneers in this industry. Okay, and then this is something else I really enjoy because, like I mentioned before, those years before that I was trying to do things really naturally, but it didn't necessarily mean that those things always worked. And so what I really love is that Shaklee has the clinical results, but without compromise. You might see, for example, skincare that works really, really well, works at getting rid of those wrinkles or whatnot, but some of the ingredients could be really harmful to our health. But Shaklee is the best of both worlds. The products are safe and they work. So I love that. Gentle on the environment, not tested on animals. So this is kind of what I mentioned before about that landmark study. So the University of California, Berkeley wanted to compare supplement users with those who hadn't been using supplements over the course of the past 20 years. And Shaklee said, you know what, we want to get in on this study. And they said, well, we're publishing these results, good or bad. And he said, that's totally fine. We are in. And so they actually found that Shaklee users had better health markers than those who were using another multivitamin, multimineral, and those who weren't using anything at all. And what was really interesting, actually, is that those who were using another brand, their health was actually worse than those who were using nothing at all. Because so often we have to be so careful about what we are putting in our bodies because sometimes it can be doing more harm than good, like protein powders that are being recalled because there's heavy metals in them. So that's something that really stood out to me as well. And then this is Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, who I mentioned before. She actually does a lot of research with telomeres, which are like little protective caps at the end of our chromosomes, and they measure our longevity. So kind of as we age, those telomeres shorten. And so they actually found, this is a quote by Dr. Blackburn, the Shaklee population is remarkably healthier than the general population as shown by two studies, the landmark study on long-term nutritional supplement users and the telomere study. And their statistical analysis showed that an 80-year-old Shaklee user would have the same telomere length as a 40-year-old, otherwise healthy, I think it was like a San Francisco person. So that's just another example of how Shaklee not only is doing all the right things to ensure purity, but also that their products are working. And then NASA actually approached Shaklee about creating a hydration drink for their astronauts. And so Shaklee has been providing nutritional support for astronauts. And you might recognize the twins, Mark and Scott Kelly, and one's even using his Vitalizer strip in space. And then we also have a lot of Olympians that use and trust Shaklee because the standards are so high. Obviously, we know that they can be tested at any point, and so it's really scary if they come back with contaminants in their system from using products that were not safe and were not tested, then they could ruin their careers. So a lot of people, a lot of Olympians have come to trust Shaklee, and we actually have powered 144 medals in the Olympics. So. Okay, so there are a lot of different product lines which I came to really support because it kind of became like a one-stop shop, and we are able to, instead of supporting Target and GNC and other companies, we now are able to support our family's business because we have the vitamins, we have the supplements and the protein and the healthy solutions. We also have a healthy weight line. We also have the skincare products, and we also have our non-toxic cleaners. So that's really nice that we can kind of just it's like a one-stop shop, basically, where we can find pure and safe products that work all across the board.
And I think this is what really sets apart this business opportunity is that the average Shaklee user uses the products for close to 20 years. And so what happens is people might start on, for example, the cleaners, and they might transform their family's life by switching to green cleaners. And then they start on the vitamins. And then all of a sudden they start wondering how to improve their skin. And then maybe they want to help a friend with weight loss. And so what I love about this picture that's so powerful is that there's something that can help everyone. For some people, it could be getting a kid on their vitamins, or helping somebody who works out, or helping somebody who's older with their mental health, their mind. We have a great product that's pictured there, MindWorks, that is proven to have greater focus, memory, and concentration, especially as we age. And so this is why Shaklee provides such a long-term, stable business. And as you look here too, the leadership is really what sets our company apart too, that other companies count on you to create their value. At Shaklee, we reward you for the value you create. And Roger Barnett is truly remarkable, really intelligent man that privately owns Shaklee. So one thing I want to talk a little bit about is this diagram here that shows employees who have their own job, business owners where you own a system, those who are self-employed, you own a job, and then an investor, money works for you. And I just want to talk about how the majority of people will trade time for money. And what happens in this business is that we have the opportunity to really be your own boss. And really, as Lauren and I have kind of walked through, to really have something that gradually grows over time. And I think that's really powerful, especially if you're familiar with the compound effect, that as things grow and build over time, it can really create a lot of generational wealth, not only for your family, but also for many families to come. And it's what's really unique too about this business. On here, I think this is really important to see that on here we have all of the different ranks or business levels in Shaklee, starting at that director rank. At that director rank, the average person earns about $10,000 a year, and then you have people all the way to presidential master coordinator. So on our team alone, what's really neat is we are actually one of the fastest growing teams in the whole company. And I think part of that is the culture and the dynamics of what we've created. So just to give you a couple ideas, my mentor and upline, Harper Guerra, she's at that master coordinator rank. You can see the average there. I personally am at that key coordinator rank. And then we have many people on this call that are on the senior executive coordinator, exec, senior coordinator, and so on. And so our team is living proof that each of these incomes are possible. I will be honest that it's not overnight. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is consistency over time that, again, compounds month after month and year after year. And it's really rewarding. Honestly, a lot of times I don't feel like I'm working. I'm helping other people. I'm servicing other people. And really, there's no greater joy than being able to really help the friends and family that you have around you. So one thing I want you to just really think about, and I think that a lot of times we no longer dream. We no longer think about what could be. And I just encourage you, no matter where you are in your life, to really dream big, because right now, Shaklee has been growing year after year. Our team has been growing year after year. And we are just 40 days away from launching some really incredible new products and technology advances. So really, there's no better time than right now to get started in Shaklee. So one of the things that I do want to mention that is really awesome, if you go back here to this slide, that senior director rank right there, that's just the second business level. At just the second business level, an entry level in Shaklee, you begin to qualify for a car payment. And those car payments have been a really great addition to our family. Lauren as well is receiving car payments, but imagine getting a car payment and what that could do for your family and the difference that that could make. Another thing I encourage you to think about is, what would it be like to travel? What would it be like to go to places like Mexico or Hawaii or Paris or Peru? All of these places have been what people on our team have been able to experience. So I just want to end here. I'm trying to keep it to 30 minutes. Typically, we have a lot of questions, so I'd love to hear from you. If you don't have questions, Lauren and I will just kind of spend just a few minutes asking each other some of the most common questions that we hear. But I do want to say that this month is really special because if you get started in your business, there is a way to save money when you get started. So there really is no better time because we have so many great promotions this month. That's only one of them. There's actually several other ones. So be sure to connect with the person that invited you to share these great promotions because it really helps. We've had 10 people already in the last week get started with their business because these promotions have been so good and they're ready to really transform and change their family's life. So with that said, does anybody have any questions? So you should see a chat bar if you do not want to unmute yourself, but please feel free to unmute yourself. And you can feel free to ask. I know that one of the common questions that we tend to get is fear about being salesy or fear of coming across as pushy. And so I'm going to ask you that, Lauren, and maybe you could answer that. And while Lauren's answering that, please feel free to type any questions you may have in the chat box.
So that was a really big concern for me. And I think what held me back for a while, just fears, just a lot of different fears in general. And so one of those things, is that I didn't want to be pushy. I didn't want to, harm any relationships or anything like that. And so what I've come to realize that what we get to do is, like I kind of mentioned this before, is just being a resource for people. And so often, people will come to us. And that was kind of what was happening before I even joined with Shaklee, is I was, people were coming and I was, referring them to Katie. And, but what's really cool is that we have so many different opportunities for people to learn about all different ranges of health topics and to hear testimonies from other people, to hear nutritionists and scientists and PhDs and all kinds of people speak about things, and we get to just basically open a door for people. And so you will find that some people will walk right through eagerly and they will be wanting help and they will be wanting someone to help them on their health journey. There are some people who sit and they watch, and that's okay, and they take some time. And there are others who might say, no, thank you. And that's okay too. But what we have found is just that we get to be a resource for them. We get to be an advocate for them. So often people feel helpless, or they feel like they don't have any other options. One of the things that I have come to be so grateful for is helping people to get off of prescription medications, because now they are not masking symptoms, but now they're able to give their bodies not only what will help, let's say they're trying to work on allergies. Not only are they, working on those allergy symptoms by taking these products and using these Shaklee products, but also they're receiving side benefits. I mean, these are products that are going to help with immunity and help with heart health and bone health and digestive health. And there are just all these amazing side benefits. So that has just been a joy for me to help people to not feel helpless. So it's really, like I said before, it's just being a resource. It's being an advocate for them. And really just, you'll see that people really desire to feel better, to feel their best. And you really don't have to push products on them, but really just offer value and be a resource for them.
Yeah, I think, an example that I just did a post on today was, people are becoming more aware of chemicals, and our new youth line is free from all chemicals. And so it was just a simple post on, helping people if they're looking for a chemical-free sunscreen. And so I really look at it as we have a product we can confidently stand behind, and we're going to do our best to help people and educate people. And a lot of the times people are looking for that. They're looking for something safe to put on their bodies, their skin. They're looking for something to help with anti-aging. They're looking for something that can help them feel better, improve their energy. And so you don't feel that way when you can confidently stand behind products that will make a difference. And I think a lot of it is training that we also teach. We have free online training available to help you really become that resource to other people. What other questions? Everybody's so quiet tonight. Is there any other questions that anybody has? I'm trying to think, Lauren, what other questions people tend to ask frequently.
One is that I've heard is, what does it look like to, do I have to pay to be a distributor? Do I have to keep up with that? Some people ask, is it something I pay for yearly? And the answer is no. There's really only minimums if you want to earn a paycheck. So you don't have to renew your distributorship. So that's a nice perk of our plan. I'm trying to think if there's any other logistical questions. I feel like I've been hearing various questions even in just the past couple weeks. We have a chat. Sarah, how do you fit it in your day with little kids?
Yeah, Sarah asked a really good question. I think, Sarah, it's very similar to people who work full-time too. So whether you have little kids, whether you work full-time, no matter, most people are busy. And really what it is just finding cracks or finding what we call nooks and crannies of your day to fit the business in. And for many people, even as simple as 5 to 10 hours a week can make a big difference in their family. So that's, for some people, that's an average of a little over an hour a day. I mean, most people can fit 30 minutes in at some point and then maybe 30 minutes later in their day, depending on what their goals are, obviously. But I think that is a great question. And I think really, again, it comes down to training and teaching you how to work smart. And we're big on working smart and not necessarily hard. It does require effort and it does require consistency. Those are two very important things. And it requires the right mindset to know that it takes time. Sometimes people launch a business right away and expect that they are maybe where I'm at, but that took 6 years down the road. And so, but it is a business that when you work once, you will be rewarded over and over and over again. So I'm going on my 6th year and I had a grand opening almost a little over about 6 years ago. And I have customers still ordering 6 years later. And that's the power of this business and what that can offer. And then we had a question, how many hours a week do you work in a typical week? I think that's a great question, Laura. I don't know if you want to answer that, but it does change. Your business changes. At that director rank, that was when I was working probably, Laura, and you can kind of piggyback, but probably that 5 to 10 hours a week, earning the on average $800 a month income. But then, as things grow, your hours can change. But the really neat thing is, as your business grows, you can really outsource things because you have that ability. So one thing that was really exciting for me, you guys, is that I really don't like cleaning. And so being able to have my income provide the opportunity for a cleaning lady helped me to not spend hours cleaning, that I could be freed up to either be with my kids or I could be freed up to be in my business. What is the minimum you have to spend each month? That's a great question. Laura, do you want to answer that?
Sure. So the minimum is to get a paycheck is 100 PV. So just every product has what's called a point value. So for example, like a box of Vitalizers, like 50 PV. So the minimum is 100 PV, so that we're actually using the products that we're recommending to other people. And for us, this is so easy. And like I think I mentioned this before, that instead of supporting other stores now, we're supporting our family's business. So that's the minimum for our own like individual purchases. if we wanted to get a paycheck each month.
And that is, I don't know if you want to answer that, Laura, but for our family, I mean, that is, I'll be honest, very easy to reach because we just switched out our cleaners. We switched out our skincare. We switched out supplement. I mean, there's from lotion to deodorant.
We didn't really talk about is the sports products, and yeah, that's something else too. I feel like that wasn't really on our range of products, but yeah, it's just so easy. From everything from shampoo and conditioner to baby wash to meal bars to energy chews to vitamins and protein, and I mean, it really laundry detergent, dishwasher detergent. I mean, it's really just, I mean, Shaklee is in basically like every room of our house pretty much. So very easy for us to do as well.
And that's just to get paid too.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great questions. Anything else? There are, I'll briefly just mention that there are different ways you can get started. The best way that works for most of us, and it's how Lauren and I got started, was we were able to pick a kit that worked best for our family needs. And so there's a variety of different kits that can help you launch your business. Some really popular ones are our youth kit, the anti-aging skincare line. There's a family kit that's geared towards people who have families. There's a bestsellers kit. There's a core nutrition. So really it's looking at what are the needs of my family and then being able to pick a kit that best suits you. One thing I'll mention briefly too is that this business, if you decide to get started, has a lot of tax write-offs and a lot of tax benefits. Mm-hmm. And so that is something that we will walk through as you get started to share more about how you can save a lot of money. In fact, there's a great tax book that talks about if you don't have or if you have a home business, it's one of the best ways of really being able to save a lot. In fact, they've even priced out having either a second income, and it's actually will save you more money to have a home business over typically over having a second income in your family. Any other questions? I don't know if you guys can see me or not on this. I'll stop this share. Okay, hold on. Okay. Was I there or no? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Thank you guys so much for joining us. And like I said, there's some great ways to save if you are interested in learning more. The person that invited you can also walk you through how to best get started. But we are excited if you guys do decide to get started in this business and what's coming. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Thanks.